Hello guys, hope all of you are doing well. So today I come again with a new topic in success factors, and first of all, just I want to apologize to everyone that I'm going to post this video after a long delay because last couple of weeks I cannot post a new video because of my busy schedule for working, so I cannot make time for preparing the videos. So today I got the time and try to prepare one helpful video on the one of the helpful topics in success factors. As you already seen from the thumbnail that we are going to discuss one of the very popular topic in success factors on overtimes, means payroll timesheets. So our topic today is how to restrict booking of overtime hours to a specific limit. As you guys who have already subscribed to my channel are very much aware that in one of my previous videos I already demonstrated how to create overtime calculations via payroll timesheets in success factors, and this video is one kind of continuation of that previous video. So the prerequisite of this video is you have to check my previous video which I have uploaded uh, with this thumbnail. You can see how to configure overtime calculation in timesheet. So my request, just go through that video first, then come to this video, because if you go through that video, if you are very new in success factors, then that will help you to understand how to configure the basic structure of timesheets and how you can put basic formula of overtime calculations there. Okay, and once again, before starting to our today's topic specifically, I like to request everyone, please pause the video for a while and hit the red subscriber button, so that if I upload a new video, you can get the notification soonest. And I hope these videos will help you to understand the structure of success factors and to help more independently in this subject. So let's no more talking today, and continue to our point of discussion. So basically the configuration steps which we are going to follow today are as below. First, we need to configure time type. uh, then we have to configure time type group. Then we have to configure time valuation for the calculation purpose, and then we have to configure time recording profile. So what are these, what do you mean by time type group, time valuation and time recording profile? If you want to know that in more details, please go to my previous upload video on overtime calculation via timesheet that I already told you. uh, if you go through that video, these topics will be much easier to understand for you. So I will give the link of that video in the description. You can get it from there, or you can look at to the iCard which you can see find from the top right corner from here. From there as well you can find the path of that previous uploaded video on timesheet. So time type, so just for clarification, I'm just not going to in details on these four topics, as I already explained that earlier as well. Just for an overview, I'm just telling the basics. Time type, here actually we need to configure the time type with attendance type classification. And for time type group, here actually three time type groups we need to configure. First one is input working hours. That means whatever the input working hours you can define, like regular working time types. Then your conference, if you are going to attend any conference as a then you can create a time type and assign to it as well, and input working hours. Then any client visit or any knowledge transfer or that kind of any regular activities you are doing, you can add that in the attendance time type and you can put it in the input working hour time type group. Then we have to create one another time type group for calculated overtimes, And then most important topic today here, we need to configure another time type group which will define the max allowed overtime hours. So if any calculate overtime goes beyond that, then systems should restrict that user of booking overtime. So that is our target today. Now in time valuation, we have to calculate two time valuations here. First one is to calculate the overtimes as per the usual process. Then second one is restrict overtime to max overtime hours. And to do so, we have to use here one specific functionality in SuccessFactor, that is time collector. So here the calculated overtime, we need to enable that time type group with time collector feature. So how to do that and how that will work in the system, let's see to the configurations, and let's see live hands-on demo on that. Let's check out, guys. So guys, I have already logged into this instance right now, and I have completed my first step of configuration as well. That means I have already created few working time types. Like you can see, there is one of the working time type. Working external name is working time, unit, hours. Classification, as I told, it is very important that time types classification should be attendance. So here I put the classification as attendance. Then you need to put the external code whatever as per your relevant requirement, that is. And similarly few other time types which I am going to use as an input in the time valuation, I have already created. And uh, now I also created one of the recorded working time which I am going to use as an input in the time valuation, and there I have assigned these time types. And as you see, the recorded working time, I have put the external name as recorded working time, and you can see the time category I have set as working time. And this is this is as just the input, so that's why I have not put the time pay type as yes. I have just set it as no here, and it should not be displayed in the UI component. That's why I set it as no. And as a comment, you can put as your relevant comment as well, working time is recorded in the timesheet and will be factored into overtime calculation. That is the purpose I'm going to use. That's why I put this comment here. And external code as work underscore rec I have put. So similarly, I have to create more two time type group as well. Now my second time type group I have to create for the overtime calculation. So let's try to open a new window for that. Let's go to manage data. Then in create new, just type time type group. So here put your relevant external name. I am putting ly underscore calculated OT, and the same name I am just putting in the external code as well. This can be as per your project's requirement. You can put any relevant external name and external code here. Now the time category we need to put here as calculated time, because this is going to be this is basically holding the output of the time valuation. Okay, so this time category, if we set as calculated time, then it can hold the value from the time valuation outcome. And if you want to show that in the UI, you can set it as yes. And if you want to use that directly in the pay type time pay type, you can set it as yes as well. But here our intention is something different today. So we want to use that as time collector, And why we going to use that a time collector? What is basically time collector's role here? So time collector is nothing but basically holding the time data. Okay, so if we want to use these calculated over time as an input of a different time valuation, then definitely these overtime calculation should hold the time data. So what do you mean by holding actually? So you can say in the time valuation as well as an outcome, it is holding the data as well. But that holding of data is just dynamic in the sense when the time valuation functionality will perform, then only that will hold the data dynamically if we don't set the time collector as yes. But if we set the time collector as yes, you can that these calculated these time type group can hold the data by static as well. That means not only the runtime but also uh, it can hold the data without runtime as well, and we can use this time type group as an input of another time valuation calculation. And our objective is exactly that today, so that's why I said this time collector type as yes. Now when you set the time collector type as yes, you need to set the time collector periodicity. That means either it is going to be calculated daily or weekly or monthly. So here I'm setting as monthly and saving the data. So our calculated over time type group is also ready. Now we have to create another time type group for to set the maximum limit of overtime. So let's create time type group. I'm putting the naming as uh, max OT hours. Okay, and putting the same in the external code as well. And here as well the time category we need to set as calculated time. Okay, and if we want to display that in the UI, you can set it yes, but I'm not trying to display that. I want to just display the error message in the screen, so that's why I'm just putting it as no. So here I'm saving this data first. So three time type groups are already created. First one is the input time type group to calculate the overtime time type group. Second one is the calculated overtime time type group, which where we have enabled the time collector feature so that it can hold the output of the time valuation. That means it holds the overtime hours. And third one is the max limit of overtime hours. These three time type groups we have configured. Now our objective is to create the time valuation. Let's try to open a new window again. So let's create now time valuation. So here in external code, I'm just putting calculate overtime. External code, I'm just putting the same thing. Now valuation type, we are going to set the valuation type as aggregate input groups and split, because it is just going to collect the it not collect, that word is not correct here, it is just going to take the input time type groups and just produce the output time type groups as per the threshold value you are going to put. Okay, so here I'm putting the valuation method as valuate per day, and threshold type I'm just putting fixed value, and threshold value I'm putting as 8. That means beyond 8 hours in that day, whatever the employee is recording the time, that should be calculated as his overtime. And the time type group above ly ly calculated over time. So whatever the hours beyond 8 hours threshold value, that will be calculated here, that will be stored here, ly calculated over time. And the input groups, the first input group we have created, work underscore rec, that we are going to put here as input group, recorded over time. And the external code, I'm just putting the same, recorded work underscore rec. So saving this. So first time valuation is now set up. So what we exactly did, we we just put the external name, external code, and valuation type we set as aggregate input groups and split, so that these input recorded working time will be taken as an input in this valuation, time valuation, and as an output it will uh, store the value whatever the overtime hours beyond the threshold value of 8 hours into this time type group above section. Okay, now we need to create another time valuation for the for to restrict the user from booking uh, the overtime beyond a specific value. Okay, so for that we need to create another time valuation here. So let's open a new window, time valuation. So here let me put the name max ot error, putting the same name in external code as well. Now the valuation type, that is also need to be set as aggregate input and split here as well. And here now valuation method we need to be, that need to be calculated valuate per day. And the threshold type we need to set as fix, and I am setting 16 here. That means when one employee's uh, overtime hours is more than 16 hours, then system should restrict that employee of booking more overtime hours on that particular timesheet. Okay, so that is our objective here. And the input time type we should put here ly calculated ot, that should be the input overtime here. External code I'm putting is c1, any unique value you can put at external code here. Now the time type group above here we should put our third time type group that we created, ly max ot hours, that we should place here. That means this will hold the value of the output of this time valuation. And error flag, yes, we need to raise one error flag, and that error flag should be raised based on the time type group. Based on the time type group above value, because in time type group above I have put that particular time type group. So based on that the error message should trigger, and the error message should be you cannot book overtime more than 16 hours. That is the error message, and I am saving this. So our time valuation is also created. Now we need to assign these time valuations uh, to a specific to a particular time recording profile, and need to assign that time recording profile to employee's job information. So that's how that employee will be eligible for all of these calculations. Okay, let's do that again. Let's try to open a new window again. Time recording profile. So we are going to create a time recording profile here. Let's put the name time recording profile and putting the same in the external code as well. Now time valuation period, we already set up one time valuation period as default. Either you can set you can create a new time valuation period as well. It is nothing but to define the first day of the week for your timesheet. Okay, so you can create it by your own as well. And time recording variant we are using here as duration based time recording, so we just put it as the variant as duration here. Time recording method we also using here the time recording method as positive, so we put that as positive here as well. And if you have already configured any workflow you can assign it here, but we for this demonstration purpose I have not created any workflow, so I'm just leaving this field as blank. The status should be active obviously. Now the time valuation, whatever the time valuations we have created that we need to assign here. So first time valuation is calculated over time and second time valuation is calculate maximum OTR. So these two time valuations we have created and saving this. Now we need to assign this time recording profile to one employee's job information. So let's try to search a test employee and try to check it by assigning this time recording profile, how it acts or how it performs. So here go for new test employee. So this test employee, we have opened that employee's profile right now here. Let's go to that employee's employment. Here is the history of job information. So let me try to edit the record. And here in time recording profile, let me try to put our created time recording profile here. So ly time recording profile, I have just assigned it to that employee's job information. Now it is saving the data. So data is saved now. So data is saved now. So let's try to check or test how it works. So let's go to the time tab of that employee. Let's go to the timesheet. And the timesheet is opening here now. Okay, the time 10 hours I just put in 5 day, first working day. So here you can see the regular working hours showing 8, that means 2 hours should be the overtime. Second day that employee had worked 14 hours, so total regular working hours right now 16 and total hours is 24, that means 8 hours is the overtime. So remember our threshold value for maximum overtime for that employee is 16 hours. So right now in the third day that employee has worked 16 right now, so total that employee's regular working hours is 24 and total working hours is 40, that means 16 is the employees overtime. So as per our configuration, now if employee try to book more working hours, then system should not allow that employee to do that. So let's see, now in the fourth day employee trying to book 10 hours, and when employee trying to book 10 hours, as 2 hours is the extra 2 overtime hours, system trigger this error message, you cannot book overtime more than 16 hours. So this is how our configuration is working fine here and it is tested successfully. So hope you guys we just gone through one very important and popular topic in SuccessFactors today on timesheet overtime calculation, how to restrict the maximum overtime limit for an employee. So hope you have learned something new and enjoyed this video. So please keep watching, and do post your comments in the comment section. Please help to subscribe my channel and like the video if the video is useful to you. So keep watching and happy learning. Thank you. Thank you guys.